If you would like to get your business exit ready, you're in for a treat because Daryl Bates-Brownsword is going to tell us all about how you can do it. And he has built 2 international multi-million turnover businesses, and one is now operating in 16 countries. The first question I have is, what's the secret to building an exit-ready business?
Welcome to Awakened Titans podcast with Lily Patrascu. Mind-blowing conversations with influential business titans sharing how you can manifest abundance, love, joy, success through quantum awakening, quantum manifestation, quantum healing, quantum miracles, exponential business growth, and innovative products and services.
Great question. Straight in with the jugular. So an exit ready, what we need to address, Lily, is that most business owners, and when I'm talking business owners, I'm talking about that SME segment of established businesses. So from about £1 million of revenue up to 30 million is that mid sort of established SME business owner size. Now, when you have a look at all of the SME businesses, only 1 in 5 business owners that try and sell their business are actually successful. So as a business owner, one day every business owner is going to exit their business, but most of them, when they try, they fail. Why? Because when a buyer comes to look at their business, they just go, that's just too risky. That business is dependent on you, or that business is run from memory. If I come and take over your business and you're not there anymore, I haven't got an instruction manual. I don't know what are the tricks and secrets at getting your business ready. So that's the issue we're dealing with. Most entrepreneurs are creative people. They hate the detail and documenting, but that's going to hurt them. It's going to kick them in the backside when they want to leave their business and get that really big payday that they're hoping for.
Thank you. Now, imagine my business, okay? I have a book publishing business.
Right.
And at the moment, a lot of it is based around my brand. What can an entrepreneur where his business or her business is built around their brand, what can they do to kind of make a shift there? Because I think a lot of the times when they try to sell that, it's very difficult because it's all based on the brand of that particular person. And there has to be some shifts, right, that need to be made in order to make that business sellable.
Yeah, great question. So whenever you get questions like this, I always think, and I have a look at the big businesses and go, what can we learn from those guys? And then how do we scale it back and make it applicable to the small business and small business owner? So when we go, look, there's a business built on brand, we can look at Richard Branson and go, well, all of his businesses are built around him, but they're multi-million pound businesses. They've got staggering valuations, even though it looks like, it's all around his brand. If he were to pass away or disappear tomorrow, all of his businesses would soldier on because the brand around Richard, yes, he's a creative guy and built things moving forward. All of the systems, his brand, if you like, was institutionalized or is institutionalized in the business. So what in your business, whatever you do that is very Lily, shall we say, we need to go, how do I train my management team to make decisions as I would? How do I train them to speak and present in my voice? And especially with AI nowadays, it's so much easier to train AI to write material in your voice. So we've got to go, how do we get my voice, my brand, my culture that I've created institutionalized or standard culture in my business and drive it across? And then we go, what is your brand developed? Then we really want to start looking at what is the IP? And the IP in your process as a book publishing business would be, how do I work with an author? What's my systematic process for extracting the knowledge or their idea out of their head and get it written in a reliable, successful, proven formula of books that sell? So what's my process? So yeah, I'm the front person, but I've got a whole team that run that process, run that machine for me. So it's always about systems and structures and just replicating what it is that you do, even though you're just the face of the business. But hopefully that makes sense.
Thank you. What are the metrics that matter when building a sellable business?
The metrics. Okay, so the biggest one needs to be for when the buyer comes to have a look at your business, they want to make sure that once the ownership of the business changes, that all of the revenue, all of that predictable revenue that's been coming in while you're the owner will continue without you being there. So the more that you can demonstrate that the revenue pattern of, hopefully that's a growth pattern of growing 10, 20, 30% a year, whatever it is, that will continue. That's not at risk once you leave. The more you can demonstrate that, the more valuable your business is going to be, in the simplest of terms.
Thank you. What about the IP? How do you value what the IP of something is worth?
Oh, great question. So IP is there's two types of IP. There's what I call your KFC IP. So KFC as in, fast food chicken, what is it special about that? It's a secret recipe that only a couple of people know that recipe, like Coke, and the valuation is on the attractiveness of that recipe and the brand built on that secret formula. The other type of IP is what I call Subway IP, and it's more in line to modern businesses where, Subway is just a salad sandwich, right? But it's what's the secret to their sandwich is the process that they follow every single time to make that sandwich. So I can go to a Subway anywhere and they'll take me through a process. What bread roll do you want? What do you want on the sandwich? Do you want this big or this big? How big do you want it? And it's a process. So in most modern businesses, the IP that we have is process style IP. So how is that valued? Is we need to be able to demonstrate to the buyer that the clients are coming to us based on our methodology or our process or our IP, and they're attracted to our business for that. They're not attracted to the people who are performing that IP. So if your people are coming to your business because of Lily, then that's a problem. If they're coming to the business because of the process that Lily built and that they're buying that process, then the business is going to be worth a whole lot more. And then it comes down to some financial metrics of how attractive it is and how scalable it is and how fast it can grow that will influence the valuation.
Thank you. Now, imagine that I build a community of, let's say, 50,000, let's say a membership of 50,000 people paying,
Yep.
I don't know, $30 a month or whatever. And it's for something that doesn't have a trademark. Okay. So, and the reason it doesn't have a trademark is because it's not possible to trademark it because someone else has a part of that name.
Okay.
So how is that still a sellable business or not? And if not, what are the dangers that could happen there?
Okay. The dangers are if you've got, as part of your membership, you're buying or licensing someone else's IP. So without knowing what's really going on here, I would be wanting to have a look of, can that trademark or that IP or use or access to that IP, can it be transferred to the new buyer? Because sometimes, there's tricks around that, or you might find that it's only licensed or it's not transferable to a new owner because the owner of the IP wants to control what's going on. If we're talking about something, it's just a name or a process that you're using that can't be licensed just because of a name, then what I'd be looking at is how sticky your membership is. If you've got a membership base and you can demonstrate that that membership base has been running for years and that the average client retention is 2.5 years, 3 years, what have you, and they're using all of the material and they're accessing all of the processes, methodologies, whatever it is on your platform in your membership base, and you can demonstrate that you've got a process for bringing in and acquiring new members and that's all turnkey type, and you've got people running that process for you, then that's a very attractive business to acquire. And then, you could gradually rename or build your own process or name your own process, like Subway have, got their process. You can create your own process, your methodology, and you can change it, just a tiny little bit, and brand it and create your own version.
Okay, thank you. That's very interesting. So it wouldn't, would you say that it would still kind of like reduce the potential value of the business if basically the only thing that the founder doesn't have is the actual name that is not trademarked. Okay, so if the name is not trademarked, it wouldn't matter so much because the potential buyer would look at the other things. They would look at potentially renaming the business or stuff like that, right? That's what they would be looking at. But that could potentially still reduce the value versus having like the trademark of the name of the website, for example.
We're getting really specific now, which is interesting. So if your network, I'm reading between the lines here. If your network is called IBM, for example, you're going, hey, look, I can't trademark that because IBM's computers and it's just going to create confusion.
Yeah.
I would consider going, hey, look, if I'm exit planning is all about thinking forward and going, what do I want from my exit? What do I want? Do I want to be able to exit on my terms? Am I looking to get the most amount of money as possible? What's the legacy I'm trying to leave? What is it I'm looking for from my exit? If I'm looking to maximize the amount of money, one of the things I could do, and if I've got time up my sleeve, so I should be looking at this 2, 3, 5 years in advance, then I could change the name of my network, my platform, and I would gradually change it. Like IBM, for example, used to be it was International Business Machines, and then they gradually changed it to IBM. You could do the same with your network. If you didn't have that time up your sleeve and you actually had a network or you had a process for building these networks or processes, then the real value in your business might not be your specific network, but your ability to build these networks and these platforms. In which case, you just build a white label and you go, hey, Mr. Here's a business. How about you buy my ability to build these networks? So it's about getting in and understanding where the real value that you create is. What is it that you do? What is your special talent that you build? Is it that specific business or is it your ability to build those? Hopefully that makes sense. I feel like we're being a bit cryptic here with
I love it. I love it. Okay, so tell us a few ways that entrepreneurs could find value in their business in the same way that you kind of mentioned, okay, the process of doing, I don't know, of slicing the bread, I don't know, the process of doing something, because that is like so fascinating. Tell us about some ways that entrepreneurs could find the value of where they really have the value in their business that another buyer could look at that and say, wow, that is actually sellable business.
Sure. So I'm going to try and speak to as many people as I can here. And if we go across most of the market, the economy today is some sort of service style of business, whether it be an agency, an accountant, a lawyer, or a management consultant, whatever it is. Now, most of those agencies and organizations are stuck in the rut of selling their professional services and they're selling time. Now, that's the biggest trap, because what that means is that the clients are coming to Lily, who is a consultant in that business. So they're buying Lily, they're not buying the business brand. Now, the problem for the business owner is that Lily can walk at any time. And even if we think of hairdressers, for example, it's exactly the same. Lily can walk at any time, and there's always a risk that a couple of the clients or some of the clients will follow Lily to her new place of work. So there's the risk to the business owner. Now, one of the things they could do is they go, well, Lily's such a fantastic talent, I could give her some ownership of the business, and that means she'll stay with me. So there's one way to address it. The other thing to do is to go, look, I see this as a risk. And as I say, this applies to accountants, lawyers, everyone. And to go, instead of saying, I sell haircuts, what I sell is the Acme way of doing haircuts, because when you come to us, you don't just get a haircut, you get, I don't know, well, you can tell I'm not real good with haircuts, but you get our way of doing haircuts, and it's the Acme way of doing haircuts, and it's the whole experience from a cup of coffee and a massage, I don't know, on the way in, and we get rid of all your grey bits for you, and we give you that whole experience, which is not just Lily doing the haircut. So we've got to start to figure out what is the process, what is it about the way we do haircuts differently? So what's special about that? And you need to get some from the outside looking in to figure that out. And then you've got to make sure that you start telling the clients that that's what they're buying from you. You're not buying my time to cut your hair. What you're buying is the Acme way of doing haircuts, for example. So you've got to get that message out to the marketplace and tell the clients and remind them and educate them of what they're buying from you. And eventually they'll be telling all their friends, you got to go down to Acme hairdressers because the way they do haircuts is so much better. And they'll be talking about the hairdressing salon or Acme or the consulting business name. They won't be talking about the person who works at that business name. That's the biggest tip I could give you around building intangible asset value in your business and around building that subway IP. Like, it's not a quick and easy process, but conceptually, that's what I would be doing if I had time in my hand. You know, if I had 2 or 3 years, that's what I'd be looking at to lock things in and build value in a service business.
Okay, so what I'm getting from what you're saying is that there are multiple ways to kind of add value or perceive value to the business, and there's intangible and then there's tangible ways to do it as well. So tell us about other intangible ways of adding value to the business.
Okay, so intangible assets are the things that don't appear on your balance sheet. So the balance sheet is the records that your accountant normally produces for you, and they're things like cars and trucks and fixed plant and equipment, and even computers are tangible assets, but they're such low value we write them off really quickly. Intangible assets are things like that IP and trade, or a trademark is more tangible because it's registered and you've paid for it. But IP is if people are coming to you for your process and your reputation. So your reputation in the marketplace is an intangible asset. If they're coming to you because of the way you do your contracts, you might have a track record of keeping clients for 2 years each, whereas everyone else sort of does a one deal and has to resell to their clients every time. And you've had an ability to put your clients on subscription, and therefore your total cost or lifetime value of clients is a whole lot longer than that. And you've got a methodology for demonstrating that you can do that again and again and again. That's an intangible asset. You might have a route into the university where you get the best graduates, and you've got an agreement or a contract with the university where you get first pick of all of their graduates every year, and you've got that in a contract. That's an intangible asset of something that's significant value that gives you a head start over everyone else. The fact that all your documents and your processes are systemized and everyone is trained in those systems, and you have a third-party certification, but that's not necessary, is another intangible asset. The fact that you have a product system where you sell the clients one product, then you sell them another product, and you sell them another product, and you can demonstrate that all your clients go through the journey of buying more than one product for you. There's another intangible asset. You may have a great culture in your organization that attracts prospective employees, where they're coming to you because they know about the culture of your organization. So your culture becomes an intangible asset because people stay with your business. Your retention of staff and employees is so much longer than everyone else, and your productivity is so much higher than your competitors in the marketplace. So there's a couple of examples of what intangible assets could be for an.
Thank you. Tell us more about the tangible assets and how they can add more value to the business.
So tangible assets are the things like we touched on earlier, already appear on your balance sheet and your financial records. So you might own trucks, you might own some plant and equipment, you might have some premises. They're the things that you can touch and feel, and traditionally can be liquidated. So banks will secure finance against tangible assets. So if you've got a building, they'll go, that building is worth £2 million. I can see how I can sell and liquidate that building if push comes to shove and I have to lean on the business. Computers, trucks, contracts are sort of tangible assets, but the people in the business have to keep going. So they're all the things that are finance contracts, and you can see on your balance sheet.
Thank you.
Money in the bank is a tangible asset. Sorry.
Okay, thank you. Now, I'm assuming that because of AI, the possibilities of exiting your business at a much higher valuation is a lot higher. Because, for example, let's say if you were to implement something like an AI process that would allow you to reduce 90% of your costs or of the employees, for example, and then to kind of increase profit, and then to be ahead of the competition who is not doing that. How much more would you say that you could potentially increase the valuation of the business? And are there also other ways to exponentially increase the value of selling your business?
Okay, so the way the IP, because the AI would come into play, is that people who buy businesses, they're still very shrewd, savvy business owners. They're not easily conned. They do this every day, and they're talking big money. They're not going to throw it away, and they're ruthless at getting a return on their investment. So, if you've used AI and you've built an AI model in your business to give you a competitive advantage, awesome. If the AI you've used is readily available and there's really no barrier to anyone else doing it, just coming up with the idea, then it's not going to add a massive amount of money because anyone can come and do it fairly quickly and copy that solution. If you've built something that really does leverage your creative ideas and scale your ideas that no one else has, then that's going to be worth a whole lot more. The other way that a business is valued, the primary way, is basically based on profitability. So if you've used AI to reduce your employees, and because of that, you've increased your profitability, you're going to have a linear growth to the valuation of your business. How sustainable that is the way the business buyers will look at it. They'll go, is that sustainable, or is they've just got an advantage by being first player to do this, and then everyone's about to copy them? So if you make a big leap ahead, you increase your profitability, but everyone's about to copy you, then you want to sell your business quick because that's while you've got that gain. As soon as everyone copies and goes, oh, what these guys did is really good, I might use ChatGPT to do that as well, you've lost that gain. You'll make a bit of cash in the meantime. So it's not sustainable. I would suggest it's not significant, valuation or exponential valuation. The way to build your valuation exponentially is to make your business attractive to a strategic buyer. So you've really got to get good into a niche and be known in that niche for something specific and something valuable. So you've really got to build your reputation and your systems and processes to be both profitable and own that niche, if that makes sense.
Thank you. Now, I saw in the news that there are so many AI businesses that have really skyrocketed, like some of them $1 billion valuation, some of them 500 million, and so on. And AI hasn't been around for that long. So, it just appears to me that they have somehow managed to get to really like an exponential valuation really quickly.
Yep.
And the reason I'm asking you this is because, for example, I'm also thinking of doing an AI coach, for implementing some of the things that I do in my business. And I'm already working on it. But I'm wondering, for example, for selling something like that is an AI coach using, like a custom GPT, for example, what would be the thing that would kind of enable me to sell this to the highest possible value, considering that perhaps, millions of other people could also do something similar?
So, and you've just nailed it right on the head. If you're applying it to ChatGPT, for example, and you've just created your own ChatGPT, the real valuation is in ChatGPT, not your application of ChatGPT. That's what was valuable to you. So you'll be able to make a marginal gain, but you're not going to get that massive explosive valuation like ChatGPT does as OpenAI has as a company, because they've got all the brains behind building that platform for people like you and I to use for free. And the valuation that they have is because of the millions of people who are adapting that and applying their technology. So if you build your own custom GPT, there's not a high barrier to that. Anyone can come and copy that fairly quickly. But if you've put that through your marketplace and your platform of your subscribers, and they're all benefiting from it. Where the value is coming is in that the value add that you provide to those people, they'll stay on your platform longer, they'll be subscribers longer, they might pay a higher fee to be part of your subscription, and the overall business valuation that you'll have will increase as a result of that. But I can't see without getting into the financials and the nitty gritty and looking into your business a lot more, you're not going to get an open AI type of $1 billion valuation because of that. You have to come up with your own original idea and invest a whole chunk of millions into it.
Okay, thank you. From the businesses that you've worked with or businesses that you've operated, what was the most impactful systems that you implemented that made the biggest difference in terms of getting a higher valuation?
The biggest one is, great question. The business I've been involved with have both been service and coaching based businesses, where they provided a skilled expertise into the marketplace. Now, in both instances, the marketplace was already flooded and established with those services. And what we did is we just changed the angle. So when everyone else was going one way and presenting and looking like this, all we did is pivot across a little bit so that we stood out. Our approach for solving the problem was slightly different to everyone else's, but it still solved the problem and a new problem for a slightly new marketplace. Our leverage was that we trained, people had the skills to be able to do it, but they didn't have the framework to sell it, and they didn't have the skill set to market themselves. So we showed them how to follow our system and our process. So if you like, we built a subway business model, if you like, franchise style of model for scaling out services and building a brand that way. So what's the most impactful is building a systemized way of doing something and training everyone to do it. And then the key is not just doing the training and then hope that it keeps running. It's having that feedback mechanism. The whole systems comes from engineering type of work. And whenever for a system in an engineering sense, it has a feedback loop that makes sure that everything is still working. And that's what most people miss when they implement a system into their business. So the way make a system successful and reliable and consistent is to have a monitoring feedback loop in place to make sure to give you, the owner of your business, confidence that everything is still running as it was designed and intended to do.
Thank you. Now, I know of a guy on LinkedIn. He's you can say micro influencer. I think maybe he has 200,000 followers or something. And then I saw that he has a tool that is probably most likely based on ChatGPT. And then he just kind of relabeled it. It's like a type of custom GPT. And what he gave it a prompt whereby it always creates really great LinkedIn posts that are almost guaranteed to go viral. Okay. So what I noticed is, for example, he's selling it for, I think it's $60 a month. I think he has about 30,000 people in it. Okay. And he also has an extra 30,000 people that are in his list aside from the premium people. Okay. Yep. So how would you value his business? Okay. So 60,000 total network, 30,000 premium members is $60 each. Using this custom GPT that is creating viral LinkedIn posts.
So if I was an analyst analyzing that, the questions I would be asking would be, how many people, when they subscribe to, because it sounds like a subscription product and everyone wants subscription products because they're great for your business valuation. But the key to subscription products is that people actually stay subscribed. So if people are having a look at this and they're going, this is great, $60 a month, I'm going viral, great, I've got a couple of viral posts, but I didn't make any money out of those viral posts. I just got a nice little boost to my ego. That's what I'd be looking at. How many people are staying subscribed to his product, and how many people is he making successful as a result of his product, such that they're never going anywhere else. If this product is so good that they can't create it themselves, because there's a really low barrier to entry here. It's getting easier and easier to build your own GPTs. There's no coding required. I've done it myself. Yeah. And I'm baby boomer Gen X sort of thing. So if we can do it, anyone can do it. It's that easy. And if how many people are going to go, well, I can pay 60 quid to him or 20 quid to OpenAI, and after a little while I can build my own AI and just go, hey, here's all the posts I've done over the last three months, use those to train it and go, here's what I like. Like how are his clients, how long are they going to stay with him for? So that's how I'd be looking at it.
Okay, so let's say that he's managing to keep those clients for the next 5 years. How much would you value his business at? Would you kind of say it's 20x because it's a tech business and it's or 20x of what? Is it 20x of his profit? Is it 20x of his revenue, or is it less?
I don't think it's going to be 20x because what his subscribers are buying are not his technology. The technology that his product is built on is not owned by him. Like the technology is ChatGPT, that's a 20x company.
Yeah.
His product is he's built the IP and he's just applied it and put it on top of the ownership. So his product is going to be valued at a membership type of organization, and however membership organizations are based, I don't have that on top of my head, but it's not 20x. It's going to be more like a traditional business and go have a look at the revenue, and it will be based purely on the revenues and the net present value of those value, that revenue continuing and just how stable that revenue is. That's how I suspect it would be valued.
Okay, so would you say more like something around 5x revenue?
Yeah. Not the revenue. It won't be 5 times the revenue. It'll be 5 times the profit.
Okay, 5 times the yearly profit. Yeah.
Yeah. And that's and we say yearly profit, but it's going to be adjusted profit. When valuers come in, they'll look at and they'll go, where are all the costs and what would the costs look like if I owned the business, not if he owned the business? So if I had to put a manager in to run the business on my behalf, I need to account for that salary and I need to adjust the business and have a look at what the profits would look like and what are the sustainable profits over time, because this product's going to need maintenance and looking after and reinvestment in the client base. So what do the profits look like? And that's where I'd base my valuation on those profits.
Thank you. Now, knowing that he's getting a lot of the clients from his personal LinkedIn, because what he's doing, he's actually using his tool to go viral, and then, DMing, not DMing people, like, maybe telling people, DM me or check out this link, whatever, right? Knowing that a lot of that comes actually from him. Does that reduce his valuation or does it not? Knowing that any other person could potentially do that, but they would have to start building again a community of, let's say Pedro buys this business and he's not a super connector, he's not a LinkedIn influencer, right? There would have to be some sort of fit in the sense of, okay, if a LinkedIn influencer bought this, they could see it as a great fit. But someone who doesn't have that kind of, influence on LinkedIn and followers and comments and shares, they couldn't authentically say, oh yeah, this tool helped me, unless they started building this from scratch. So what would you say in terms of valuation?
Well, you've identified the weakness in that business model is that if I were to buy that business and that owner, that personality wants to leave, all of those clients are attracted to that personality. So that means, I might be buying that revenue stream, but that revenue stream is going to be declining once that influencer type person leaves. So there's the weakness in the influencer model. Unless they can demonstrate that revenue base will continue to grow without their input, there's a really low valuation there, because it's, what am I buying? So you've identified the weakness there and identified it. So as an influencer, it is a really good lifestyle model, and it's what I call an income-based model. And that's why I go, when we're working with business owners, we need to have a look at business owners who are looking, and our expertise is with, I'll call them traditional businesses. So where they've got sort of at least 10 employees and they're selling something, it could be a product or a service to businesses, but a buyer can go, yes, I can see what this buy is. I can see this business as an entity. It's not, not that there's anything wrong, but other businesses, you're just buying the cash flow stream. And that's what you would be buying in this example that you're giving, but it's likely to be a declining cash flow stream, so it won't be a highly valuable.
Thank you. You were wonderful, like absolutely wonderful. Please tell us where entrepreneurs can find you.
You can find me on LinkedIn, but I don't have I'm not a high LinkedIn influencer trying to sell all sorts of things there. But my name, Daryl Bates-Brownsword, you can see it on the screen now. There's only one of me in the world, so you can find me on LinkedIn. If you've got a business and you're starting to think about, hey, is my business sellable? Have a look. If you search for business sellability score, you'll see that Succession Plus, our company, has the business sellability score. It's an indicator. It'll take you 4 minutes to complete, and you'll get a quick indication of how sellable your business is, and do you have some assets, and where are the opportunities for you to increase the valuation and get that exit on your terms. So business sellability score, and that name you see on the screen right there.
Follow us for more interviews with world's most influential business titans, providing you with the insights to awaken to your full potential, so you can get paid to be yourself, find true happiness, and manifest anything you desire.